It hasn't even been a week, but already the blame game has started for Disney's Snow White disaster. It's almost like everyone in the world could see this coming for the past 2 years. As soon as the viral Rachel Zegler clips took off, as soon as she disrespected the original, as soon as she made so many things inherently political during the promotion of this movie, it was only a matter of time before the movie eventually got released after a multitude of delays and reshoots and strikes and all these things, that we'd finally get to see what a pile of shit this movie was. And in that aspect, it didn't disappoint. In fact, it surpassed expectations. I don't know if anyone could imagine it would be this bad, but is the lowest box office opening by a huge margin for these Disney live action bastardizations. It is flopping, it is tanking, and it's going to lose Disney hundreds of millions of dollars. But it seems like Disney is already passing the blame for this failure solely over to Rachel Zegler. Now, like I said before when I covered this story, Rachel Zegler deserves, I think, the lion's share of blame for the backlash and the viral nature of the backlash for Disney's Snow White. However, Disney are the ones that cast her. Disney are the ones that were so happy to cast a woke Latina Snow White because we care about diversity. That's what they said when they announced this casting. And of course, they're the ones that wrote a complete pile of shit that completely undermines the message of the original, isn't an adaptation of the original. It's a whole different movie, right? They are the ones that are responsible for the movie being dog shit. Rachel Zegler is responsible for the vast majority of the negative feedback that people had going into the movie. There's a lot of blame to go around. But as you can see in this big article that we covered earlier from Variety, it goes in depth. It talks about how Disney was shocked when Rachel Zegler, after causing a storm, after stirring up so much criticism and controversy in general over her comments about the original, they didn't want to tell her to shut up. They didn't want to tell her how to run her social media. It wasn't until she tweeted Free Palestine in connection to the promotion of the first Snow White trailer, while Galgadot was continuously being attacked already, that they decided, hey, something has to be done. And that's when they came in and they said, look, we really think that you need to be more careful about attaching messages like that to the promotion of this movie. Rachel Zegler told them to fuck off. I'm going to say what I want, and continue to put her foot in her mouth all the way until November in the election, where she not only made videos talking about how she doesn't want Trump supporters to go to her movies, to then after the election saying, fuck Donald Trump, which is one thing. And I don't think necessarily goes well when you're trying to promote a movie, but that's one thing. The other thing was fuck all Donald Trump supporters. So 50% of your possible audience in the United States, you've told them, don't come to the movie, go fuck yourself. That's when Disney once again stepped in and said, hey, you need to fucking reel this shit back in. You are destroying any possibility of positive momentum for this movie. And Disney was right when it came to that, but it was too little, too late. Predictably, we're starting to see a lot of people come to Rachel Zegler's defense and say, how dare Disney try to blame her for this? Disney has a lot of onus in this failure. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm saying it again in this video right now. However, the idea that Rachel Zegler didn't do anything to harm this movie is complete and utter bullshit. If Rachel Zegler had said none of these things, none of these ridiculous things, this movie would have a much bigger opening weekend box office. There's no question about it. Now, might have a massive drop, probably wouldn't hold very well if the movie was exactly as what they put out, because this movie is trash. It just is. But it's a combination of these things, which is why the movie is failing. How Disney tried to save Snow White by silencing Rachel Zegler. And Daily Beast is very upset that they would try to silence Rachel Zegler. Here's Paul Tassi from Forbes. A bad movie, not Rachel Zegler, is to blame for Snow White bombing. You start to see the media coming out to do their own spin job to be like, well, I don't think we should blame Rachel 100%. We should blame her. Blame Disney for the movie being bad, but you can also blame Rachel Zegler for 2 years of negative publicity, negative PR, viral backlash for this movie. But a lot of people that agree with Rachel Zegler in terms of her politics, a lot of people that have pronouns in their bios, a lot of people that have flags that aren't of their country, and probably if they're fucking LGBTQ flying that flag, they went to that country, they'd be thrown off a fucking roof immediately. Nevertheless, they're coming out in full support of Rachel, with a lot of them implying Galgadot is the reason that the movie bombed. I hate to tell it to you. I don't really care what you think about this conflict in the Middle East that's never going to fucking end, right? I really don't care what you think about it personally. However, the idea, if you think that Gal Gadot, who there are some very loud individuals who hate Gal Gadot because she's Israeli, because she served in the IDF, because there are very loud people. If you think that that had a bigger impact on the box office than Rachel Zegler's 2 years worth of fucking backlash, you are retarded, which is probably why you hold so many of those political beliefs. But let's get into it. I knew they'd try to blame, and a lot of people are talking about this Variety article. I knew they'd try to blame this movie flopping on a young girl who spoke up against genocide rather than her IDF soldier co-star who is facing a global boycott. FYI, this movie's failure rests entirely on Gal Gadot for being talentless and genocidal. And it's weird. I remember a lot of those same calls when she was cast as Wonder Woman. It's weird that movie made almost $1 billion. The movie didn't do so well because of talentless genocide supporting rapist Gal Gadot. That's what Femi says. That's what Femi says. Fuck y'all. Fuck Gal. Fuck genocide and free Palestine. Hit piece on actor Stauncher believes it gets a genocide. Fuck y'all. Sending a 67-year-old man. So a producer had to go and tell Rachel Zegler, what you're doing is hugely detrimental to what you getting so political is hugely detrimental to what we're doing. Sending a 67-year-old man with so much influence in Hollywood to threaten a 23-year-old girl is so fucked up. The power imbalance of this should be illegal. And I'm so fucking proud of Rachel for not backing down. This article tries really hard to blame Zegler for Snow White losing money, but accidentally just makes her look cool as hell. Know about that? Hollywood's insane, dude. What the fuck you mean Dear Evan Hansen's dad flew to New York to spook a 23-year-old girl into deleting a tweet opposing genocide? Disney tries to make Rachel Zegler sound entitled. Meanwhile, the woman sounds awesome. A producer flew all the way to tell her to delete a tweet, and the woman was like, nope. Respect. Trying to blame Rachel Zegler's humanity for Snow White flopping instead of the fact that I have the worst actress in the history of mankind. It's quite a move. This is where this is going. You're about to see a lot of people, including media, desperately try to assign blame to Gal Gadot for this flopping as opposed to Rachel Zegler, which is just wild. And again, I'm not going to pretend like there's not people out there that wouldn't support it because of Gal Gadot. That amount of people pales in comparison. And we've seen Gal Gadot, again, like I said, Wonder Woman. We saw this same shit. We saw these same talking points when she was cast as Wonder Woman, how upset some of these people in some areas of the world particularly were. That movie went on to be quite successful at the box office, but suddenly that's the reason. Suddenly that's the reason why. And Gal Gadot has spoke out from time to time, but a little bit different way. And I really don't care if you agree with Gal Gadot or disagree with Gal Gadot. I disagree with 90% of people in the fucking entertainment industry whenever they open their mouths on social issues, political issues, whatever. There's a difference between having your opinion, putting that opinion out there, and using it in conjunction with the promotion of your movie. There is a massive difference when it comes to those things. And right now, you do start to see, as Disney is trying to put out the word and blame Rachel Zegler, and I think they're half right in doing that, and half they should take onus upon themselves for the failure of this movie. They're not wrong. Like, look at the past 2 years. Rachel Zegler is the biggest controversy. Rachel Zegler has been the biggest problem. And you have a lot of her fans, retarded or not, deciding that it's not her fault. It's all Gal Gadot's fault. Rachel's just perfect. She can do no wrong. Slay, queen, as you lose hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office.